Hey there, I'm Marina Orms. I'm super excited to be here. Today this is the Astro Vibe for October 30th. And today I wanted to dive into the question, is this the age of Aquarius? And that is a question that I get from time to time. And tomorrow there's a first quarter moon in Aquarius. And I was thinking, well, anytime I talk about something in Aquarius, I get that question. Does that have to do with the age of Aquarius? What does that all mean? And so let's take a look at what that means. I want to give you a little more information about the age of Aquarius and what it does mean. But first, I have a really exciting announcement that I want to let you know about. I am as you may know, I am a former nurse, board certified holistic nurse, and I worked in labor and delivery, but more to the point, is that I've been using astrology as a healing modality since the time I started studying astrology almost 30 years ago. And I am starting a playlist on this YouTube channel. So the Astrology Heals YouTube channel will have its own playlist that's called Astrology for Nurses. And it's going to be a series of videos that is specifically geared toward professionals. So if you are a nurse or a healing practitioner or interested in some of the more technical side of how we use astrology as an evidence-based healing modality, we'll be diving a little bit deeper into some of those topics. And I'm excited to be able to speak directly to nurses and healing practitioners, holistic healers. So if that applies to you, or if you know anyone who might be interested in expanding their knowledge of astrology and how to apply it in your healing practice, check it out. It's Astrology for Nurses, but it's for any healing practitioners. It's also for non-practitioners if you're just interested in a little bit more of the technical side of how we work with astrology as a modality and what that can look like, and how I've been using it in my practice for all these years. I've written 2 books about it, Cycles of Healing and Astrology Heals, and I'm just really excited about it. So check out that playlist. Let your friends know if you know any nurses or healing practitioners who might be more interested in astrology as a healing modality. So getting back to our topic of, is this the age of Aquarius? Like I was saying, tomorrow there is a first quarter moon in Aquarius. That is not unusual. Every month we have a moon in Aquarius. Every year we have a new moon and a full moon in Aquarius. We have a first quarter and a last quarter moon in Aquarius. Those things happen once a year. We also have planets that go through Aquarius. For example, we have Saturn in Aquarius right now, and the energy of Aquarius gets to be this planet Saturn, which is about structures and systems, institutions, frameworks, discipline, limitations. When that planet is in the sign of Aquarius, that we're grappling with things that have to do with how our systems need to be there's like a revolution in how we do things, and Aquarius brings change. It brings the energy of shakeup, of change. It's like lightning bolt, earthquake type of energy. It brings in new ideas, innovation, new thinking outside the box. And so Aquarian energy is part of the zodiac. It's part of you somewhere in your chart. And some of us are Aquarius suns, some of us have Aquarius moons, some of us have Aquarius somewhere else in our chart. So So Aquarius is an important part of the zodiac. It has to do with change, with shakeup, with rebellion, with authenticity and being your own person, where you're unique, how you are different, the ways that you need to express yourself in your uniqueness. So that's all Aquarian. And we can have Saturn, which has been in Aquarius since the end of 2020 and will go into Pisces in March of next year. We have Pluto, which has been in Capricorn since 2008. And next year, Pluto is going to be going into Aquarius in March, after a little bit after Saturn leaves Aquarius. So Pluto will be going into Aquarius. Pluto goes retrograde back out of Aquarius next year, but in 2024, it goes into Aquarius, where it will stay for almost 20 years. So we're going to have a shift in the foundations of the background of what's going on. We've had Pluto, the planet of transformation, Pluto, the great transformer, in the sign of Capricorn, which is heavy. It's about responsibility. It's about our systems and our institutions. And it's really kind of has a heavy, serious weight to it, and a feeling of monumental significance. So next year, that Pluto, that profound background energy, is going to be going into the sign of Aquarius, which again is about breakthrough. It's about breaking out of old molds. It's about rebellion and revolution. It's about authenticity. It's about shakeup and change. And so there's lots going on with that energy of Pluto going into Aquarius, and we're going to have that Pluto background theme. All of this is true, and none of this has to do with the age of Aquarius. An age in astrology is a whole different thing. And in fact, we are entering into the age of Aquarius, but it's got nothing to do with these other planets or the moon or anything else that's going on this year, this month, this decade. Those are going to be more fine-tuning what's going on in the bigger picture. And so the age of Aquarius is actually referring to a 2,000-year period of time. An age has to do with how our solstices and equinoxes here on Earth, right, that we experience day and night being longer, longest, shortest, and equal. So solstices, we have longest day, shortest day, and equinoxes, we have equal day and night. Those are important points in the alignment of our planet Earth, going around the sun, and the angle of and how the seasons work. So the angle of the Earth's rotation, and the way that it travels in its orbit around the sun, all of that lines up to create solstices and equinoxes. Now, what happens is that we, on our little planet Earth here, we are orbiting around the sun, and we're part of a solar system, right, that has the sun at the center. But our tiny little solar system is just a minute fraction of the galaxy that we are part of. And so that galaxy and our part of that galaxy are also moving. And so what happens is that the alignment of how our solstices and equinoxes line up over long periods of time, those change, they shift, they move as the bigger picture of the stars and our parts of our galaxy are moving. So as that happens, we have what we see is that the stars in the background of the sky at the time of, for example, the spring equinox, are going to very, very slowly over time are going to shift. And that's why we have two different zodiacs you might have heard of. There's something called a sidereal zodiac and a tropical zodiac. And it depends on whether you define the zodiac based on the distant stars, or you define the zodiac based on our solstices and equinoxes that we experience as seasons here on Earth. So the bigger picture of how that changes over time is shifting into the part of the sky that is Aquarius. And so whereas the spring equinox is the definition of the beginning of Aries, and that doesn't change, that relationship of that spring equinox to the distant stars does change over time. It has moved from, in the last 2,000 years, we've been going through the age of Pisces. And 2,000 years before that, we were going through the age of Aries. So it's moving backwards through the zodiac, and we're at this time entering into that age of Aquarius, where the background distant constellations, distant stars are going to be in the sign of Aquarius instead of Aries, where they were 2,000 years ago. So what does that mean for us? It means that in the big picture, we are moving into a collective experience, a human experience of moving from seeing the authority as a central God, divine sort of figure. So you know how royalty, kings, queens, monarchy is kind of seen as connected to God, right? Is anointed, is infused with divine energies, depends on the culture, right? Sometimes it might be a representative of God, sometimes you might be seen as the actual deity. There are different versions of it, but this idea that there is a centralized authority figure that we look to for understanding how things are organized, and that we are just peons, right? We are peons here in the world compared with the specialness and the importance of this centralized authority figure. And there's more of this like divine kind of hierarchical, it's patriarchal, but it's also what's underpinning it is the idea that we are looking to we are looking outside of ourselves to the divine for answers. And what's happening and what it means to be in the Aquarian age is that we are going to be looking more within ourselves. It's got more of an equality feeling. There's an equalitarian, a sense of our human uniqueness, and looking to ourselves, seeing ourselves as the authority figures. That locus of authority is not one single central point, but rather is spread out amongst each of us, being in our truth, offering our uniqueness, offering our own perspective, and that each of us, every single being, is equally as worthy as the next. So that is, in the bigger picture, that's really what it means to be shifting into the age of Aquarius. And so we can see that happening and kind of playing out in our more day-to-day lives. And it's 2,000 years. So we're talking about big picture, long-term shifts. And what's happening is that as we go through these changes of the past decade, past 20, 30, 40, 50 years even, and the kinds of things that have been unfolding and evolving for us, are also helping us make that shift in how we think about things, from that this idea that there's a patriarchal figure, a father figure, an authority, a centralized authority figure that we should be getting our answers from. And so as that kind of as what's happening in government breaks down, and we have themes that we grapple with about authoritarianism, we're actually grappling with, in the bigger picture, we are grappling with how we expect to have our answers coming from an authority, rather than trusting ourselves and seeing ourselves as where the momentum is, where the power is. And we are really in the process of beginning to get what that means, right? And what it means that we can come together in communities, that we can innovate, we can have new solutions to old problems based on our own ability to think and our ability to think outside the box, see things differently. And as we go into Pluto in Aquarius next year, we're going to see more of that. We're going to see more of our ability to think and problem solve. We're going to have to grapple with new technologies. Is very Aquarian. Some of the artificial intelligence stuff, the internet, the way that our ways of understanding have embraced more and more technology, and now we have to grapple with the moral implications, the ethical implications, the how does this actually going to operate, how are we going to be responsible with it, and things like that. So we're going to be grappling with all of that, and that is kind of in that bigger picture. That's what the age of Aquarius is. And just, but we still have Aquarian energy that that is going to play out in different ways. And so this 20 years that we're going to be heading into here of Pluto in Aquarius is going to be one phase of that. Another phase is the Pluto-Uranus conjunction of the 1960s, and the way that there was the emergence, almost in earthquake-like fashion, of this wave of seeing ourselves as important, seeing ourselves as the one who are going to create equality and bring our troops back from Vietnam and end the war and create peace, and all those ideals from the 1960s. That was the Pluto-Uranus conjunction. And now we, in the early 2010s, 2011 to 2014 and beyond, we had the square of Uranus to Pluto. So that also being a big part of this shift and this transition as we grapple with what it means to be human beings, what our responsibilities are on the individual level, how we want to work together to create and to create systems that work for us, and to have the new innovations and new thinking and thinking outside the box as we work together and operate together and see human beings as equal, women and men as equal, all races, backgrounds, religions. It's not that there is a hierarchy, right? Those are all sort of artificial things that we have imposed on our understanding of social structure. And that is part of the age of Pisces, right? Having that social hierarchy where we see ourselves as submissive to someone who is more important. And so we're reclaiming our power. We're stepping back into what it means to to work together, to really work together and to see our power in the collective. And of course, we have to have systems of how we operate, and ways that we follow rules and laws together so that we can function together and in this global society that we live in. So anyway, that's more of what the Aquarian age is about, and maybe that's more than you wanted to know, but it's the other thing to know about that that the ages is that we are actually at a turning point where we have been moving away from the center, pointing our solstices at the center of the Milky Way galaxy to 13,000, it's this 26,000 year cycle. And so 13,000 years ago, we were in the most matriarchal alignment of energies, and we have been moving away from that for 13,000 years. We are now at the point where we are at the most patriarchal, and we are at the turning point where we begin now to turn back toward going back to source, going back to that center of the galaxy, as we do this dance of the shifting ages, as we move our solstices and equinoxes through the different background of the sky and through the different signs in this bigger picture cycle. So a sign lasting about 2,000 years and the bigger picture cycle lasting a total of about 26,000 years. And that's astronomy. So, I mean, the interpretation of it and what it means is astrology, but the actual movement of the planets and our solar system in relationship to the galaxy, that's astronomy. It's physics. It's fact. So very interesting stuff. And Aquarian energy is how we actualize ourselves. It's how we break out of the molds and the structures and the limitations of the past to be more free. It's about freedom. It's about actualizing who we are here to be, being in our truth, being unique. And again, solving problems from this perspective of we have access to infinite potential. And what does it look like to work with some, outside the box thinking? And if you think about it, outside the box is infinite, right? So inside the box is what we know. It's our comfort zone. It's where we dwell. And then anything outside the box is everything else. And so as soon as you have a defined understanding, a reality that works for you, a comfort zone, you have a box. And as soon as you do that, you have also defined everything that's not that. And everything that's not that is where the realm of mystery dwells. And from that realm of mystery, from the unknown, from infinite potential, we can draw in and claim for ourselves whatever it is we can imagine, whatever we can dream, whatever we can vision for ourselves. And I'm not saying it's easy. And it's not. And I'm not saying that the pains and the challenges that we're up against are not real. They are very real. Our human experience of being here on Earth is a mortal one. We are vulnerable as beings. Our human bodies are vulnerable. Our spirits may be infinite, but that's not the game we're playing. The game we're playing is here on Earth, and how we respond to the challenges and the problems that we have to solve here. And so how each of us responds to that. And when you remember that problems and challenges are not there to defeat you, they are there to make you stronger, then you can look at and ask yourself, what am I becoming in the face of this problem or this challenge? And that is the real question. What is each of us becoming? What are we becoming together? How are we coming together to think outside the box and to operate in ways that maybe we've never thought of before, to solve problems in ways that maybe we've never thought of before? And there's so much of that going on right now. There is so much innovation, so much people saying, you know, okay, I'm done waiting for the authority figures to solve this for me, so I'm going to take that upon myself to go and make a difference and start to create the things that I want. And at least I know that I've tried, right? And so, but we don't even know what we're capable of. So we have to try, and we have to keep working at it. And we're here in this moment, experiencing what our own power can be, and how the nature of the circumstances that we are in the middle of in the world, how that is pushing us to become more of what we're capable of, rather than being complacent or accepting what is, because it's never occurred to us to think differently or to create something new. So really powerful stuff. And today, the moon is in Capricorn. The moon is passing by Pluto, which is a planet of power and transformation, still in Capricorn for a few more months. And so we're still looking at this breakdown, confrontations with old ideas, old realities, and the ways that we're creating the new ones. Tomorrow's Aquarius moon is a first quarter moon, which is also a challenging time in the moon cycle. So little mini challenges that we have in the moon cycle that are actually pushing us to shift our consciousness to look at things differently, like get a higher perspective, shift your consciousness to the way of thinking that is going to help you see new solutions that you couldn't see from your old thinking. So that's very Aquarian. And tomorrow's first quarter moon is going to put a little pressure on us to shift in that direction. And then the Aquarian age is a much bigger picture. It is something that we're in the process of shifting into. And there's not like a moment when it clicks into the Aquarian age. It's more like sort of a transition period that we've been in for the last 100 years or so. And so, you know, different experts have different definitions of exactly when the age of Aquarius begins, but we're in the transition phase. We're in the process of moving from the Aquarian age, or the Piscean age, into the Aquarian age, and going through the shifts in how we see reality, how we understand reality, how we see ourselves, how we see our own role in the context of reality and our day-to-day lives. So big stuff. And then the planets on the more day-to-day level are going to help us go through these motions to make these changes. And some of those are like Pluto in a sign for 20 years. Others are like the moon, which is in a sign for 2 days. So lots of different ways that the planets support us. I am here to help you make the most of how the planets are supporting us. And so we've got every day here the Astro vibe supporting you in the astrology of unshakable self-care, because when you understand what's going on with the astrology, it helps validate your experience, and it helps you see how to take care of yourself best, and how to work with the energies that we have available to us to make the most of it. and to do this work that we're here to do, to support our souls, to grow, to evolve, to become capable of more, to become bigger in consciousness, bigger in our hearts, bigger in our truths, all the time. So bigger than you were last year and 10 years ago. And, 10 years from now, you will be even, you will expand even more in terms of your consciousness and your capacity to believe in positive things, and to open your heart to more love, to receive love, to share love, to be a conduit for love. That is what we are here to learn. The Aquarian age is just the next way that we have to be working on that and doing that. And the planets help us every day. So come back here every day and watch what I have to offer for you to get that daily boost of self-care and support. Make the most of your day and help your own process. And if you are a nurse or a holistic healer, a healing arts practitioner, if you're interested in how to use astrology as a healing modality, check out my playlist. It's going to be called Astrology for Nurses. So look for that. And thank you so much for being here and for helping me get the word out to reach other nurses and holistic practitioners. Thanks for being here. This is Astrology Heals. Thank you for subscribing and for all your support. And I'll be back. See you next time. Bye for now. You can learn more about me at astrologyheals.com.